Don't you hate it when you're following a fiction series and the author dies before they finish it? The Foundation books, the Dune books, the Dorsai books of Gordon R. Dickson, others. So these series have shaped my fiction writing, my attitudes, my life. And I've always felt sorrow that they didn't end the way they should have ended, the way their author would have wanted them to end. So one day it occurred to me, why don't I finish them? These are all series that I have cared about, read about when I was younger, still go back to now and then. Why don't I just finish them? So I'm working on a book right now called Dreamvale Tributes, because these are tributes to the authors who shuffled off the mortal coil before they could get the story done. So I want to give you a little update. The book I'm hoping will be out in the spring, and it'll be free because it'll be part of my Assembling Terrania cycle of stories. That will be the frame around these stories finishing themselves. So just this morning I finished a draft of a story that will end the Foundation series to my satisfaction. Asimov really painted himself into a corner. He wanted to combine his robot series and his Foundation series. He did that, but he basically handed it all off to the robots and then went, now what? So he wrote a couple of sequels and then he died. So that wasn't satisfactory to me, so I finished it the way I wanted to see it finished. The Dune stories ended on a cliffhanger. Brian Herbert was part of the team that wrote more stories after that. I consider them fan fiction. I've read excerpts and just went, no, these don't work for me. So I want to finish the original 5 novels of Frank Herbert the way I think they should be finished, so I'm working on that. The Amber books of Roger Zelazny. So he wrote 10 of them, the Chronicles of Amber, and then he wrote some short stories, and he was going to add a bit, bring in some new elements and wind things up, and then he died before he could do that. So I have written a story that finishes that series. The same with the Dorsai books. What a cliffhanger Gordon Dickson left us with. Right up to the last confrontation. Now it's all gonna crest. It's a big wave, and then he's gone. So I wrote a story that finished that. The Earthsea books ended. I love the Earthsea stories of Ursula Le Guin, but they ended in a way that didn't fully satisfy me. They left some things loose. So I thought a short story to wrap that would be a good idea. Fahrenheit 451, one of Ray Bradbury's masterpieces. I always wondered what happened afterwards, so I wrote a story that came after. And finally, the Star Trek character Garth of Izar. What happens after he heals from his psychotic break? I was curious about that. So hopefully this will come out in the spring, but I can keep you posted. Fingers crossed.